Valley. Keith Hillier's back from Radio 3UZ. Great to see you, Keith.
Oh, nice to have you back, Bruce. We'll speak more about your trip. I bet it was a beauty.
It was terrific, Keith, and thank you for the scones. They were superb this morning. I couldn't wait to... Didn't have anything like that in Barcelona at all.
Yeah, you'd miss them. Bruce, speaking of the spring, one of the spring stars, let's not even use the word potential, because he will be returned to Sandown yesterday, star of the realm, and his win was devastating. He was fantastic.
Tremendous to see him back, because I know Max Presnell from the Sydney Morning Herald will be interested. Good morning, Max. Welcome, because he didn't fire a shot, did he, in the autumn last year in Sydney?
Top of the morning to you, Bruce. No, he's one of those horses that certainly doesn't take his Melbourne ability to Sydney, but we get quite a few that don't take their Sydney ability to Melbourne too, but that's how it works out. But certainly, star of the realm in Sydney wasn't anything like the horse that we saw yesterday.
Well, you talk about that, Keith. You talk about Joanne, don't you?
Yes, on that very point, Joanne went to Rose Hill yesterday. She's had 10 starts at the track and won 9 of them. I think she's won 16 from 25 starts career-wise. Yet from 6 or 7 starts in Melbourne, as Max pointed out, only 1 win.
Yes, and Max, she looked to struggle yesterday. Looking at the replay, Mick Dittman had to work overtime, and there are all sorts of rumours this morning whether or not she may be retired. What's the latest with Joanne?
Well, Jack Denham is considering whether he will retire the mare. Certainly she needed plenty of help. The enforcer had to live up to his name to get Joanne home against a field that wasn't all that flash as far as sprinting credentials were concerned. Dittman would like to see her have another run this preparation and then be brought back for the autumn for similar sort of sprints that she raced in yesterday. But Denham, well, he's pondering upon the situation. But certainly there wasn't a great deal of zip or zest about Joanne yesterday.
Well, racing was a free day at Rose Hill yesterday, Bruce, and punters watch Mick Dittman's treble for nothing. They should have paid plenty, because Mick was at his best, Max, wasn't he?
Well, Keith, we call him the enforcer, and there's no doubt he lives up to that. Mick Dittman is a champion jockey. Mick Dittman is in the George Moore class. I'm not going to say champions are better than other champions. I think the fact that you can reach that pinnacle is credit enough, and there is no doubt about it. Mick Dittman is a champion.
Well, let's see the champ in action as he works overtime to get Joanne home in yesterday's big race.
All set, lights flashing, ready to run. They're off in the Premier. Good start. Hula Grey won the start and won it easily from an outside gate, and Cooksley is desperate to lead. Joanne pinged away quickly, and so did Spanish Mix, followed by Shoeshine Henry. Instrumental settles down about 5th on the inside. A gap then to Big Dreams, followed by Dr. Grace and Volcanic, and tailed off Sir Amadi. At the end of 300, Hula Grey the leader, Joanne second and travelling. Running third, Spanish Mix, followed by Shoeshine Henry. A length away, Instrumental. A length to Big Dreams, about 3 to Volcanic and Dr. Grace together, and back at the tail is Sir Amadi. Nearing the 600 metres mark in the Premier, Hula Grey led, Joanne second, Spanish Mix third, followed by Shoeshine Henry, pushed along now. A gap to Instrumental and Big Dreams as they come around the turn, and further back Dr. Grace, followed by Volcanic and Sir Amadi. Straightening for the run home, and the leader is Hula Grey. Joanne's under a bit of pressure on the outside. The leader's giving some cheek. Hula Grey a length in front of Joanne. Dittman's gone for the whip on the favourite. Spanish Mix in third place, followed by Big Dreams and Shoeshine Henry. Hula Grey still in front. Dittman getting desperate on Joanne. He's throwing everything but his boot at her. Little Joanne is knuckling down. She's coming at Hula Grey. She'll still win, Joanne, but she gave him a fright. Joanne wins at a neck to Hula Grey. Spanish Mix might be third in front of Big Dreams.
Well, you just wonder, looking at that, Keith, whether or not she is as good as she was, and she has been brilliant. I've loved her over the years in Sydney, but that was a big struggle for her.
It was, yet right in the last couple of metres she really knuckled down and went on with it. Mick Dittman, Max lauding his praises there. He deserves it, because Mick can turn seeming defeat into victory, where lesser jockeys can turn seeming victory into defeat, Bruce, can't they?
Well, she's won 12 races now, Max, at 1,200. It's obviously her distance. I want to ask you about Big Dreams and also about Dr. Grace. My feeling with Big Dreams is that he's a gunner. He hasn't quite done it. I know he's a bit big yesterday. And Dr. Grace, well, we know he's a fine horse and a very good competitor.
Bruce, Big Dreams was 10 kilos overweight yesterday, according to Brian Mayfield-Smith. He had a good run, didn't come out all that clean out of the gates, went to the line, was under the whip to get to the line. Big Dreams will win races. He's got to be placed well. He's not what you would call a real A-grade horse, but I'd like to have him in my stable. Dr. Grace, well, he was the run of the race. He certainly didn't get the same sort of persuasion that Joanne did to get to help him to the line, but Nevertheless, he really surged home. He's a 6-year-old. I believe he's being set for the Caulfield Cup this year. It was a very, very good run. The fact that he's a 6-year-old, though, makes you wonder. He's a top-class racehorse. He confirmed that yesterday, but the fact is he's been over a lot of miles, and just whether he'll be able to retain the zest he showed yesterday.
Yeah, he's been quite remarkable, Dr. Grace. He's kept on coming, a Derby winner and a BMW. Keith, yesterday Shaftesbury Avenue galloped at Rosehill. He's one of my favourite horses of all time, and it'll be interesting to see if he can come up after his third in the Japan Cup last year.
Did you watch that gallop, Max?
Yes, Keith, Shaftesbury Avenue looks magnificent. He's bigger than he's ever been before. Normally he builds up in his preparation. He's going to do that again, which means we're going to get a bigger, whether we're going to get a better Shaftesbury Avenue is a query. But Dittman described his effort yesterday as magic. He came home his last 2 in 22, probably a shade better. The only problem with the gallop was that Dittman said, we didn't go hard enough on this horse early. He'll need another gallop. Anthony Cummings will give him another gallop this week, and I'm looking forward, very much looking forward to seeing Shaftesbury back in action in the Warwick Stakes next Saturday.
Yes, well, so am I.
He is exciting, and a horse that reminds me a little bit of him won yesterday in Melbourne, Star of the Realm. There's a little bit of Shaftesbury Avenue about this horse, I think.
Yes, well, he's the Derby winner, Bruce. He went to Sandown yesterday, the best horse in the race by length. The pattern of the early races made it virtually impossible for horses to come from behind, and that is why Shaftesbury Avenue got out at one stage of the betting to the amazing odds of 5 to 1. Absolutely incredible. An imported horse called Steamer Duck was back from 4s into 5 to 2 at one stage and started at 3 to 1. He raced like a hobbled Muscovy. He finished 16.5 lengths behind Star of the Realm, and Star of the Realm is going to win big races this spring. I'll give it to you in writing if you want.
Okay, write it down, Keith. I've got the message. Let's have a look at his performance yesterday at Sandown.
As they run down the back turn, and they were followed by Dedicated a length and a half further back as Star of the Realm, who settled about 4th last, and well back to Doc Savage, followed by Steamer Darker and Mystery Adventurers last of all. Racing up towards the 700-metre mark, and Ben Barr and Knight, plenty of speed on her, led by 2 lengths to Fair Statement. 6 lengths further back, Mentats Rule on the outside of Legion, Deadly Addiction. Chevelle Classique is in behind them, Dedicated, followed by Star of the Realm, and a fair gap to Steamer Duck, Doc Savage and Mystery Adventurers. They make the home 10. Ben Barr and Knight with a handy break at the top of the straight, 450 to go, led 2 lengths to Rare Statement. 4 lengths away, starting to run on now is Chevelle Classique, followed by Dedicated, and Star of the Realm is rattling home from a long way back. Coming to the 250-metre mark, and Ben Barr and Knight the leader, but look at Star of the Realm winding up down the outside. He's coming with a rattling run. Star of the Realm on the outside has taken the lead. Now Chevelle Classique is going with him on the inside, but Star of the Realm's got his head in front. He's too good, the big fellow, Star of the Realm. He's drawing clear, and Star of the Realm won 3/4 of a length. Chevelle Classique with Dedicated third.
Could he be too forward too soon? I mean, I don't want to put a dampener on him because it was a great performance. There's 11 weeks to go to the Melbourne Cup, and he's pretty forward, isn't he?
Well, he is, but John Marr is timing his preparation to the day. Bruce, putting that race in perspective, if the track bias was erased to some extent at that stage, and considering the opposition, you would be disappointed, in fact, if Star of the Realm had not won that race. He did what he had to do, what he was expected to do, but the opposition's going to be a lot tougher because those he beat yesterday won't be sighted in the spring.
No, they won't. And Max, you've had a good look at Naturalism and Viander Cross and Heroicity during the autumn. Do you think this horse could match it with them?
I've got no doubt he'll match it with them in Melbourne. But as far as yesterday is concerned, I do think that the merits of Dr. Grace more than compared with Star of the Realm. Dr. Grace was having only his first run back, got to the line just as well, not with quite the encouragement. But the point with Star of the Realm, he's a 4-year-old. He's got it all ahead of him. As Keith said, he had to do that yesterday to maintain a high rating, whereas Dr. Grace is a 6-year-old. He's got plenty behind him. At this stage, I would probably give Star of the Realm a pat over the pair as far as the Caulfield Cup is concerned, but not by much.
No, it's a fair comment. And Dr. Grace, of course, has won over $2.5 million, and the other horse has won $500,000. This is his first win since the Derby. Briefly, Yachty, his performance yesterday, beaten again, but he's most consistent, and he's not far short of an A-grade horse, as Max puts it.
He's a very good horse. He went there with top weight yesterday, Bruce. Stake-wise, he had $360,000 more in his coffers than the winner, Ark Raj, but what he didn't have was race fitness. Arch Raj had that and the weight, and that's why he beat Yachty yesterday.
Yes, let's go and have a look at Yachty's performance invertingly yesterday with Ark Raj much improved getting the money.
Tennessee missed a half length in advance of Ark Raj out 3 deep in the pink colours vertically as they straighten up. They're followed by Domain Star, presented with a beautiful run up. It's good enough. Racing Ruler is back behind them. Sparky Miss followed by Yachty and Stylemaster. 300 metres left to go, and Tennessee Miss being tackled quickly by Ark Raj, and vertically is under pressure, and Yachty is coming home well down the outside. Sparky Miss looking for a runner. Ark Raj on the outside has taken the lead past the 200, kicked away from Tennessee Miss. Sparky Miss running on well vertically, followed by Yachty, but it's Ark Raj in front. It will be too good, and Ark Raj drew away to score nicely on the line. Ark Raj, Yachty, and over on the inside, Sparky Miss in a photo for second and third, just ahead of Verdingley.
Verdingley a bit disappointing again. I'd like you to compare Yachty with King Marauding, who you saw win the Churnside Stakes, because they probably will clash in some of the big 3-year-old sprints this year.
Well, they might even clash as early as next Saturday. That is being considered, with King Marauding running in the Manikato Stakes at Moonee Valley, Bruce, and Rick Hall-Lacey chewing over today whether he will start Yachty again. I think King Marauding is a much improved colt. I think he has the edge on Yachty so far this season. As for Verdingley, look, Michael Clark told David Hayes after the race that he would have won on a dry track, but there've been more excuses for Verdingley than I had when I took home my report card, Bruce.
There were a lot there, I can tell you about that. I wasn't around in those days, but I could imagine. I agree with you. I think he's had some chances. You talked about King Marauding, who won last Sunday, the Churnside Stakes. You saw a very interesting mare win on last Sunday, Max, in Sydney, one that Bart Cummings has got.
No, actually, Bruce, in Melbourne, Normanby Road.
Sorry,
I know
was
you were
in
in Barcelona at the time. No, what I felt was interesting about this mare is that she is about the same stage of a preparation as Let's Elope was last year. Normanby Road wasn't entitled to sprint as well as she sprinted last Sunday, but she did. She landed a plunge, and she showed that glimpse of ability, the glimpse of acceleration, I think, that could mean that Cummings has got another Cup lightweight, so it'll be interesting to see how she progresses. But Bruce, on the subject of the Cup, I got a bookmaker to do a market on the trainers, what he thought, what price the trainers were to win the Cup, because Cummings has got something like 20 horses, David Hayes has got 38 horses. Well, he's got Bart at 3-1 to win the Melbourne Cup, Lee Friedman at 4-1 to win the Melbourne Cup, David Hayes at 6-1 to win the Melbourne Cup. Not flash odds, but then again, you don't have to name the horses that they're going to win with.
Very interesting. What about Normanby Road?
Yes, what Max has said was true, that she came here with a similar form line to Let's Elope, but what she hasn't got is size, and that will stop her getting to the heights of Let's Elope, I'm sure, Bruce.
Fair enough. We'll have a look at those Melbourne Cup, Caulfield Cup weights next week in the program. Manikato Stakes next week for Melbourne.
Yeah, King Marauding, nominal favourite, and it is going to be an exciting race.
And very briefly, Max, Sydney next week? Yes,
an outstanding program at Warwick Farm. We've got Burst going around. We've got the Colts in the up and coming, and of course Shaftesbury Avenue in the Warwick Stakes.
Lots to look forward to. Like the tie again this morning. Very
do you, Bruce? Yes, from Canberra, actually, and the Canberra Cup being run on Sunday.